Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I'm Chief Sophia of the AMERICAN Band of Indians. And this is another video in our series on the various temples, i.e. constellations. Today we're going to talk about the temple of Scorpio, which is ruled by Aries. And so we're just going to read through. Aries is the god of war, but not just any kind of war, offensive war. So Aries does not start the battle. Aries is who you call to finish the battle. In the Roman pantheon, it's Mars. In the Hindu pantheon, it's Kartikeya, Kartikeya. Again, the god of offensive war. So if you are a Scorpio person like me, this is your guy. You want to definitely go to Wikipedia, type in Aries, just like it's spelled on the screen, and do some reading, okay? So, his symbols are a sword, a spear, a shield, and a helmet. The day is Tuesday, so if you're born on Tuesday, then you're also an Aries person, okay? All right, so Aries is the Greek god of war and courage. He is one of the 12 Olympians and the son of Zeus and Hera. Many Greeks were ambivalent towards him. The reason why they were ambivalent is because he didn't start battles. He was there to finish them. And if you have a society that's not at constant war with each other, then there's no battles to end. Like, that's very, very simple. He embodies the physical valor necessary for success in war, but can also personify sheer brutality and bloodlust, in contrast to his sister Athena, whose martial functions include military strategy and generalship. So Athena is who you call when you want to devise a war game strategy, all of that. And Aries is who you call when none of that is working and you need to win the battle. That's the difference, okay? An association with Aries endows places, objects, and other deities with a savage, dangerous, or militarized quality. Although Aries' name shows his origins as Mycenaean, his reputation for savagery was thought by some to reflect his likely origins as a Thracian deity. Some cities in Greece and several in Asia Minor held annual festivals to bind and detain him as their protector. In parts of Asia Minor, he was an oracular deity, meaning he held the oracles. Still further away from Greece, the Scythians were said to ritually kill 1 in 100 prisoners of war as an offering to their equivalent of Ares. The later belief that Spartans had offered human sacrifice to Ares may owe more to a mythical prehistory misunderstandings, allegedly, and reputation than reality, meaning they might not have been doing that, okay? Although there are many literary allusions to Ares' love affairs and children, he has a limited role in Greek mythology. When he does appear, he is often humiliated. Of course, they would want to demasculate this really rough, buff man who is literally going to come in and finish the problem, okay? Fight the war. In the Trojan War, Aphrodite, protector of Troy, persuades Ares to take the Trojan side. The Trojans lose, while Ares' sister Athena helps the Greeks to victory. Most famously, when the craftsman god Hephaestus, who we already talked about, discovers his wife Aphrodite is having an affair with Ares, he traps the lovers in a net and exposes them to the ridicule of the gods. Ares' next nearest counterpart in the Roman religion is Mars, who was given a more important and dignified place in ancient Roman religion as the ancestral protector of the Roman people and state. During the Hellenization of Latin literature, here we go, two big problems, Hellenization and Latin, okay? The myth of Ares was reinterpreted by Roman writers under the name of Mars, and in later Western art and culture, the mythology of the two figures became virtually indistinguishable. And that's because the Romans, they were warriors. They loved to fight, okay? So, of course, they would take Ares, Ares, conflated with Aries, Aries, and make him the leader and put Athena out of their pantheon, basically. Like, who cares about wisdom when you're talking about these ancient people? They don't care about wisdom. All they care about is fighting, okay? And that's exactly what they did. All right. All right, we're just going to skip over some of this stuff, what are we going to read? Where are his mythology? Okay, he was one of the 12 Olympians, the son of Zeus and Hera. So he is one that was actually born to Zeus and Hera. Okay, and it's interesting because when we talk about Sagittarius next, you'll see that that set of four, I think. I don't know. I won't say that. We'll say it once we get to Pisces. All right. In the Argonautica, the golden fleece hangs in a grove sacred to Ares until it's theft by Jason. The birds of Ares, Ornithes arioi, drop feathered darts in defense of the Amazon shrine to Ares as the father of their queen on a coastal island of the Black Sea. The founding of Thebes. Ares plays a central role in the founding myth of Thebes as the progenitor of the water dragon slain by Cadmus. The dragon's teeth were sown into the ground as if a crop and sprang up as the fully armored autocratic Spartoi. Cadmus placed himself in the god's service for 8 years to atone for the killing of the dragon. To further propitiate Ares, Cadmus married Harmonia, a daughter of Ares' union with Aphrodite. In this way, Cadmus harmonized, listen to this, in this way, Cadmus harmonized all the strife founded the city of Thebes. In reality, Thebes came to dominate Boeotia, great and fertile plain, which both in history and myth was a battleground for competing polities. Polities? According to, it says polities, but I think it means like elites. According to Plutarch, the plain was anciently described as the dancing floor of Ares. All right, let's skip talking about Aphrodite. Let's talk about the giants. In one archaic myth related only in the Iliad by the goddess Dione to her daughter Aphrodite, two chthonic giants, Alaude and Otis, and the Alaude, named Otis and Ephialates, bound Ares in chains and imprisoned him in a bronze urn, where he remained for 13 months, a lunar year. And that would have been the end of Ares and his appetite for war if the beautiful Aerobia, the young giant stepmother, had not told Hermes what they had done. In this, Burkett, so basically so this is how they did it. All right. So if you bind one of these entities for a full lunar year, like if you bind them for a full lunar year, this is in bronze, which we could talk about what that means in another video. But if you bind one of these entities, the Olympians, in bronze for a year, that is the way to eliminate them. And they can only be rescued by another one of their fellow Olympians, okay? In this, Burkett suspects a festival of license was unleashed in the 13th month. A festival of license? What is that? Does that mean like lewdness? Hold on. I don't know what this word means. We're going to look it up. License, yeah, but that's not the right way they're using it. A festival of license. I think they spelled it wrong. Was unleashed. A festival of license was unleashed in the 13th month. Ares was held screaming and howling so he screamed the whole time in the urn until Hermes rescued him, and Artemis tricked the Alaude into slaying each other. We already talked about that when we talked about Artemis, okay? That's crazy. In Nonos Dionysica, the war between Kronos and Zeus, Ares killed an unnamed giant son of Echidna, who was allied with Kronos and described as spitting horrible poison and having snaky feet. In some versions of the giantomancy, Ares was the god who killed Mimas. In the 2nd century AD, metamorphose of Antonius, okay, I'm just going to skip the name, Antonius Liberalis, I don't know why I couldn't say that. The monstrous Typhon attacked Olympus. The gods transformed into animals and fled to Egypt. Ares changed into a fish, the Lepidotus, sacred to the Egyptian war god Anur. So basically what they're saying is when these particular gods needed help, they went to the Egyptian gods. So the Egyptian gods are a separate thing from these Greek gods. They're involved with them obviously because they came to their rescue, but they're not in the same universe. It's like a part of the multiverse. And that's important because if you think that all of these entities are connected and they're all the same, that's not necessarily true. Like they have their Egyptian counterparts. Obviously, after this happened, the Olympic gods fled to Egypt. They got a Egyptian counterpart. Obviously, that's without, doesn't need to be explained. But that does not mean that all of the Egyptian gods are also involved in this constellation thing, because I don't think that's true. All right, so, all right. I was looking to see if he had, it doesn't talk about his role in the Trojan War. I find this to be really unusual because they keep doing this. Like some of them they talk about the Trojan War and other ones they don't. So they don't talk about it. We're not going to go into extreme detail. But I just wanted to mention that if this is your guy, you want to go and read his story and see how these things show up in your life, because this is, going to be important. And of course, we're going to do more videos breaking down each one of these temples, but it's really important to have a good understanding of all of them, because you have all these temples in your chart. And just because you don't have planets in them, right, the houses are empty, doesn't mean that the temple is not there. And that's going to be really, really important moving forward. So shalom, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.